Can you tell me about your recent project?
Okay, so I recently completed a project employee management system. Okay, and there I used Spring Boot in a backend and MongoDB for the database. And the goal was to create a RESTful API that could manage employee details, department information, and salary records
Mhm.
efficiently for a mid-sized company. So, yeah, this was my recent project.
Okay, so how did you structure your application and what were the main components?
Okay, so actually I used MVC pattern for the structure and I had several main components like controllers to handle client request, right?
Mm-hmm.
Services to implement the business logic, repositories to interact with the database, and entities
Mm-hmm.
to represent the database table. And I used Hibernate for ORM to map our entities to the MySQL database table. And I also implemented Spring Security for authentication and authorization to secure our endpoints.
Okay, so what you have done for your data validation?
Okay, so for data validation, I used Spring Boot built-in support along with the custom validators to ensure the integrity of the data being sent to our API. Okay, and I
Mm-hmm.
annotated our entity classes with validation constant, and I used controller advice to handle exception globally. So basically, this approach helped us or helped me return meaningful error responses to the clients and improve the overall user experience.
Okay, so can you please tell me the difference between JVM, JRE, and JDK?
Okay, so okay, so basically, the JVM stands for Java Virtual Machine. Is the engine that runs Java bytecode and making Java platform independent. Okay, and the JRE stands for Java Runtime Environment, and that includes the JVM and the standard libraries that Java program need to run. Okay, so think of the JRE as a package for user to run Java applications, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the JDK stands for Java Development Kit, is for developers, right? That contains everything in the JRE plus tools like compilers and debuggers to create Java applications. Okay, so the JVM executes Java bytecode, JRE provides the environment to run the Java applications, and lastly, JDK lets us develop those applications.
Okay, so can a Java application be run without installing the JRE?
Okay, so basically, usually we cannot run a Java application without having the JRE
Mm-hmm.
because it has the essential tools and libraries the application needs to work. Okay, but
Mm-hmm.
I think there is a tool called JLink in newer Java versions that let us bundle our Java application with its own little version of the JRE. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
basically this means we can make our Java application run on any computer without needing the user to install Java
Mm-hmm.
first. So traditionally, no, but with some modern tricks, yes, definitely.
Okay, so is it possible to have the JDK installed without having the JRE?
Mm, okay. Yes. So basically, yes. When we install
Mm-hmm.
the JDK, the tool for making Java programs, we already get the JRE, the toolkit for the running Java program with it. Okay. So the JDK includes everything in the JRE plus extra tools for developers. So if we have the JDK, we automatically have the JRE too. It's like getting a complete set of tools for both creating and running Java applications.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
So, can you please tell me what tools are included in JDK that are not part of JRE?
Okay, so the JDK Java stands for, as I already told you, it stands for Java Development Kit,
Mm-hmm.
and it includes several tools for Java development that the JRE
Mm-hmm.
does not, right? Key tools are just to the JDK are Java, JAVAC, The
Mhm.
compiler that transforms the Java code into the bytecode. So Java doc for generating documentation from source code, and there is another one jar for achieving multiple files into the single package, and then JDB, the debugger for fixing bugs, and JLink, which create custom runtime images. And yeah, these tools are
Mhm.
essential for developing, debugging, and deploying Java application, and making the JDK complete package for developers, while the JRE is mainly for running Java application.
Okay, so can you explain how a Java virtual machine contributes to the Java platform independence?
Mm, So yeah, JVM makes Java code work on any device. Okay, so this is
Mhm.
what we already know. So here is how I when we write when I write Java code once, so it's get turned into the special kind of code called bytecode, right? So the JVM
Mhm.
on each device then takes this bytecode and turns into code that divides understand, no matter if it's a Windows PC, Mac, or Linux server, right? So this means any Java code can run anywhere. There is a JVM without having to change anything in any system if we have JVM. Okay, so it's like the JVM speaks many languages and translates our Java code for each device. So that's how JVM contributes to Java platform independence.
Okay, so can you tell me that what are the memory storage that are available with JV?
Okay, yeah, sure. So basically, in JVM, there are multiple memory storage like heap, stack, method area, and meta space. Okay, so the heap is where objects live and is the playground for garbage collection, right? And the stack stores methods, frames, local variables, and method calls. Okay, and the method area
Mhm.
holds class structure information like runtime constraint and static variables, etc., etc., right? And lastly, metaspace holds metadata about the class that the JVM loads. So these areas help me the JVM efficiently allocate memory for running Java applications, and each serving a distinct purpose in the memory management process. So yeah, that's all.
Okay. So, can you tell me that how does the JVM optimize memory management? And after that, please talk about the roles of young generation and old generation space in this process.
Okay. So JVM optimizes memory management through a process called
Mhm.
garbage collection, right? Which
Okay.
automatically clears out unused objects to free up memory, and it also divides the memory into two main parts: young generation and
Mhm.
old generation. Okay, so basically, young generation is where new objects are created. Most objects die here. Okay, so it's frequently cleaned, which is a quick process. Okay, some objects that are used for longer time survive these cleanups and move to the
Mhm.
older generation. So the older generation holds these long living objects and is cleaned less because it's a heavier and slower process. Okay, and
Mhm.
this separation into two spaces makes memory management more efficient because now it reduces the need to check the entire memory for a news object all the time. So the young generation is like a short-term memory where the things are quickly forgotten unless they are important, while the old generation is like a long-term storage for things that stick around longer. Okay.
Mhm.
So this system helps the JVM manage memory smoothly, making sure Java application run faster and efficiently. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's all about.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
moving to the next question. So, as we talk about the Java, can you please tell me the difference between iterator and list iterator?
Okay, so I can tell you. So basically, the iterator and list iterator in Java are like tools for going through a list of things. Okay, with an iterator, I can only move forward through the list one step at a time, and I can remove things as I go. Okay, but with a
Mhm.
list iterator, I can move both forward and backward, which is handy if I need to go back and forth. Okay, and
Mhm.
also list iterator lets me add new things and change things in the list. So we can say like iterator is good for simple tasks like just going through everything once, while list iterator is better when we need to do more like adding or changing stuff along the way.
Okay,
So yeah,
so
that's
do you know that how to make a ready-only array list in Java? And please tell about the use case of this.
okay. So in Java, in order to create a read-only array list, we can use collection. We can use one method of collections, that is unmodifiable
Mhm.
list. Okay, this methods basically convert our original array list into such way that that it doesn't allow adding, removing, or modifying its elements. Okay, and talking about the use case of this read-only array list
Mhm.
uh, is when we want to make sure that the data inside our list doesn't change. Okay, this is
Mhm.
important for security when we want to share our list with other parts of code or with external libraries, but but also we don't want them to alter the list. Okay, so it
Mhm.
also helps prevent bugs in complex applications where accidental changes to the list could cause unexpected behavior. Okay, and it's keeping data safe and consistent. So when we pass around our list to different methods or class, we can be confident that no one else can modify it, which can be crucial for situations where data integrity is
Mhm.
important. So yeah, I think
Okay.
that is a use case.
Okay. So, do you know about threads?
Yes, yeah, I know about threads. So
Mhm.
basically, they are like separate paths of execution that can run simultaneously. Okay, imagine having multiple workers in a shop. Each work is like a thread doing a part of the job at the same time as others, right? Similarly, in Java, a thread is an instance of the thread class or object that implements the runnable interfaces. Okay, so when we start a thread, Java's virtual machine run its run method. Okay, so basically
Mhm.
threads can make a program faster by doing multiple things at once, but they can also make programming harder because now we have to handle cases where threads are sharing resources. Okay, so this is
Mhm.
where things like synchronization and thread safe programming come into the picture, and they help make sure that threads don't interfere with each other and cause problems. For
Okay.
example, if two threads try to add an item to a shopping cart at the same time, so we need to make sure that they don't conflict, right? So the shopping carts end up with the right item. So yeah.
Okay. So, can we start a thread twice?
No, basically, no, in Java, we cannot start a thread twice. Once a thread has been started and its use run method, and when it's completed, so it's considered dead. Okay. So trying to start it again will throw a exception. That's, I think, illegal thread state exception. Okay. So if we need to run the same task again, we have to create a new instance of the thread or use a different mechanism like implementing the task through the enable interface and passing it into a new thread object. Okay, so this rules helps prevent confusion and ensures that the thread life cycle is clear and predictable. And in future, it will make sure also avoiding like unexpected behavior or errors in the program. So yeah.
Okay. So, please explain the public static void main string in
Okay.
Java.
Okay, okay. So in Java, this public static void main is the entry point of any
Mhm.
Java application, right?
Okay.
Now let's break down the keywords, right? So here, public makes the method accessible from anywhere, right? Static means we don't need to create an object to call this method, right? And void means it doesn't return any value. And now talking about main, so it is just the name of the method, and
Mhm.
that is a default one, right? Now coming to the string of array args part. So it's an array that holds any command line argument that's passed to the program. So when we run a Java program, this is the first method that gets called and start our application.
Okay, so what will happen if we don't declare the main as static?
Mm, okay. So basically, if we don't declare the main method as static in Java program, so the JVM won't be able to launch the application. Okay, and this is because the JVM calls the main method without creating an instance of the class. Okay, the static keyword allows the JVM to call main directly at the class level without needing an object. Okay, so
Mhm.
without static, I think there is no way for the JVM to run the main method on its own. Okay, and is it would require an object to call the method on. Okay, which the JVM doesn't
Mhm.
create. So due to this, the program will compile, but it will fail to run and will obviously give an error, like something method is not static, main method is not static.
Okay. Okay. Now, moving to the next question. How do you secure a REST API in Spring Boot?
Okay, so to secure a REST API in Spring Boot, uh, definitely I would use Spring Security. Okay, first I would add Spring
Okay.
Security dependencies to the project. Then I would configure security settings to specify which endpoints are public and which are protected. Okay, and for authentication, I think JOT JSON Web Tokens are great for stateless authentication where we validate the token with each request. Okay, and then
Okay.
enabling HTTPS is also crucial to protect data in transit. And we can also use annotation like pre-authorize for fine. I mean control over like who can access and what, right? And additionally, we can also set up the codes, and it's also important for safely handling cross-origin requests and considering rate limit also. I mean, rate limit is also one of the. I mean, we can consider the rate limit also to prevent the abuse of the API. So yeah, that's how we
Okay.
can secure.
So, can you tell me about the Spring Boot Dev Tools?
Yeah, sure. So basically, Spring Boot Dev Tool is a handy tool. Like it's very useful. That makes the development process faster and more efficient in Spring Boot applications. Okay. It provides features like automatic restart. So whenever we make the changes to the code, which saves me from manually restarting the application. Okay. So this
Mhm.
restart is smarter because it's only reload parts of the application, not the whole context. Okay, and
Okay.
it is very quicker. Okay, so DevTools also offers a browser live reload features that automatically refreshes web pages when we change resources,
Mhm.
like templates or static assets. Plus, it also improves the use of H2 database console. So it's an inbuilt database of the Spring Boot and offers remote debugging support. Also, DevTools makes coding in Spring Boot a smoother and more enjoyable
Mhm.
experience by reducing the time spent on the repetitive tasks. So, yeah.
Okay. So, can you tell me about the actuator and micrometer?
Yeah, so Actuator and Micrometer, they both are tools, and they are like toolbox for monitoring and managing a Spring Boot application. Okay, so imagine Actuator as a magic book that tells us the health metrics and details about our application, like how well it's running without needing to dive into the code. Okay, so it's like having a dashboard that shows us everything from traffic lights to engine performance in a car. Okay, just like we
Okay.
have a dashboard in car, so similarly here also. And now moving to the micrometer, it's like a super smart gadget that measures everything we can think of in our application, right? So from the number of requests it handles to how long each request takes, so it can all of these things,
Mhm.
and it works with Actuator to provide these details in a way we can easily understand and use to make our application run smoother and more efficiently. So yeah, together they help us keep our application in tip top shape, and it will ensure like it's healthy and performing good. Yeah.
Okay. So, how to resolve white label error page in Spring Boot application?
So, okay, when we see a white label error page in our Spring Boot application, so basically it's like our app is saying, I'm confused and cannot find what you are asking for. Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
to fix this, I think we need to guide it better. Okay. One way is by
Okay.
creating our own error pages. Okay. We can add a
Mm-hmm.
custom error controller or use a controller advice annotation to catch the exception and show more helpful pages. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think another way is to ensure our applications mapping and URLs are correct. Okay, so it
Okay.
knows where to find the right pages or resources. So yeah, basically it's like making sure our application has a map, so it doesn't get lost and show that generic error page again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. So now I will give you some code snippets, and
Hmm.
you have to just give the correct output. And please share your screen as well. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, sure. So yeah, let me share my screen. Yeah, so I shared my screen. You, I
Mm-hmm.
think, pasted code snippet on the chat box. So let me paste here. Hmm. Okay, so here public class A static void main true. I think this will break. So yeah, so I think yeah, so this
Mm-hmm.
will give a compilation error because here we are using break statement inside the if loop,
Okay.
and that's not allowed in the Java. So instead, the break
Mm-hmm.
statement we can use in for loops, right? So yeah, that's why it
Mm-hmm.
is compilation error.
Okay. Okay. Now I just shared the next code snippet. Please
Okay,
do it. Okay.
yeah, got it.
I
Let
just
me
filled on the chat box.
yeah, let me paste here. Class base void protected foo and derived extend base void foo public class name. So here we are overriding a method foo and it is protected. Yeah, so this will also give an error because
Mm-hmm.
in base class we have a protected foo method, right? And in the derived class,
Mm-hmm.
a child class, we are just overriding this method, but we cannot override because it's in parents it's protected and in child class it is default, right? So we cannot
Mm-hmm.
change the access modifier while overriding, so and hence this will give an error.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So now I just shared the another code snippet, and
Okay.
please go ahead with this one. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, let me paste here. Mm, Class complex private double C1 array. So I think this will also
Mm-hmm.
give an error because as we can see here, we are creating a complex C1 object, okay? And in the
Mm-hmm.
complex class, we have a constructor where we are passing something. I mean, it's a parameterized constructor, and here we are just trying to
Mm-hmm.
create an object with a default constructor. So it will give an error because this parameterized constructor overrided the default constructor. So yeah, that is
Okay.
also an error. Yeah.
Okay. So now I will share you the last code snippet. Okay.
Okay.
Just
Yeah.
go ahead with this one. Mhm.
Okay. Let me paste here. Class y2 xy plus 2 static void. Here y2 so 2 plus 2 4. So yeah, so here the answer would be 4 and 2 because x is 4,
Mhm.
y plus 2 and 2, y is already 2 and I am not seeing any error in this code. So it
Mhm.
is 4 and 2.
Okay.